Assalamualaikum and welcome to our Decision Science video presentation. Today, we will be exploring two important topics in decision science, which are forecasting and linear programming from the Islamic perspective. This presentation is brought to you by Group 10, consisting of Ali Karimi, Muhammad Ilham, Aleeya Roslan, Siti Nor Aishah, and Siti Nuramira Adawiyah. In this presentation, we aim to show that decision science is not only about formulas and calculations, but also about making wise, responsible and well-planned decisions. From the Islamic perspective, planning and decision making should be guided by knowledge, effort and trust in Allah. First of all, what is forecasting? Forecasting is the methodical process of predicting future events or trends by analyzing historical data and current conditions. In simpler words, forecasting means using past data to estimate what may happen in the future. This is important because many decisions involve uncertainty. For example, a business may not know exactly how many products customer will buy next week. A pharmacy may not know how much medicine to prepare. Without forecasting, decisions may be made based only on guessing. Forecasting helps reduce this uncertainty. It allows organizations to plan resources more efficiently, such as inventory, budget, manpower, and materials. It also helps minimize waste and cost because businesses can avoid preparing too much or too little stock at the same time. Good forecasting can give an organization a competitive advantage because it helps them to prepare earlier and respond better to future demand. From the Islamic perspective, forecasting can be related to ikhtiyar, which means effort. Islam teaches us to plan, observe, evaluate and prepare while still relying on Allah for the final outcome. This can be related to the Quranic verse from Surah Al-Hashr, verse 18. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ya ayyuhalladzina amanu taqullaha wal tanzur nafsum ma qaddamat lighad wattaqullaha innallaha khabirum bima ta'malun. O you who have believed, fear Allah and let every soul look to what it has put forth for tomorrow and fear Allah. Indeed, Allah is acquainted with what you do. Based on the tafsir, the phrase what it has put forth reminds us to evaluate our past actions, reflect on them and learn from historical trends. Meanwhile, the phrase for tomorrow reminds us to plan ahead, manage future risks and understand that our present choices can affect future outcomes. This verse supports forecasting in two ways. First is strategic vision, which means using past and current data to prepare for the future needs. Second is predictive audit or Muhasabah, which means reviewing current action and trends to reduce risk before making decisions. For example, Roscoe Pharmacy wants to forecast the weekly sales of Comfort brand headache medicine to manage inventory and avoid stockouts. The method used is the 3-period simple moving average where n equals 3. The sales data from week 1 to week 10 are 110, 115, 125, 120, 125, 120, 130, 115, 110 and 130 units. To forecast sales for week 11, we use the latest 3 periods before week 11, which are week 8, week 9 and week 10. Their sales are 115, 110 and 130 units. So the formula is forecast for week 11 equals 115 plus 110 plus 130 divided by 3, which equal 118.33 units. Therefore, the forecasted sales for week 11 are 118.33 units. Since the pharmacy cannot stock 0.33 of a unit, Roscoe Pharmacy may prepare approximately 118 units or round up to 119 units to reduce the risk of shortage. This helps the pharmacy balance between having too little stock, which may cause stocks outs, and having too much stock, which may lead to unnecessary costs or waste. To conclude, forecasting doesn't mean we claim to know the future. Only Allah has complete knowledge of the unseen. However, forecasting is part of ikhtiyar, where we use available data, plan wisely, make proper effort, and place our trust in Allah for the final outcome.
Now we'll move on to the second topic of our presentation, which is linear programming. So what exactly is linear programming? In simple terms, it is a mathematical technique used for decision making. It helps individuals and organizations make the best possible decisions when it comes to allocating limited resources. Linear programming revolves around three main concepts. The first one is objective function. This is what we want to either maximize or minimize, such as profit or cost. Second is decision variables. These are the quantities we are trying to determine. And third is constraints. These are the limitations or restrictions we must work within. Linear programming is commonly used to maximize profits, minimize costs, improve productivity, and encourage logical strategic thinking. In short, it gives us a structured way to find the best outcome given whatever limitations we face. To add to that, linear programming is valuable because it helps us to make optimal decisions by carefully evaluating all available options, rather than guessing or going with intuition alone. LP guides us through a systematic process, weighing every possibility against our constraints to arrive at the most efficient solution. This makes it an essential tool not just in business, but in any situation where resources are limited and decisions matter. Now, how does linear programming connect to our Islamic perspective? We referenced Surah Al-Anfal, verse 60, which instructs believers to prepare whatever strength and resources they are capable of. The verse goes on to say that whatever is spent in the cause of Allah will be returned in full and no one will be wronged. While this verse was revealed in the context of military preparedness, scholars have drawn broader lessons from it. That Muslims are commanded to plan ahead, to use their resources wisely, and to prepare strategically for challenges they may face. This is fundamentally aligned with what linear programming asks us to do. Looking at the tafsir of Ibn Kathir for this verse, three key principles emerge that directly relate to linear programming. The first one is proper planning. Just as LP requires us to define our objective and constraints before solving a problem, Islam encourages us to plan carefully before taking an action. The second is wise resource management. The first commands believers to prepare whatever they are able, meaning to use available resources to their fullest potential without wastage. This is precisely what LP optimizes for. And the third is strategic preparation. The first highlights foresight and readiness. LP mirrors this by helping decision makers anticipate outcomes and choose the most effective path forward. Both the verse and linear programming ultimately point to the same principle, which is efficient and organized decision making. Building on that tafsir, we can see four specific ways this Quranic verse supports the practice of linear programming. First, it encourages efficient use of available resources. LP ensures no resource is wasted beyond what constraints allow. Second, it promotes careful planning before decisions. LP requires us to fully model a problem before arriving at a solution. Third is it supports systematic problem solving rather than ad hoc decisions. Both Islam and LP guide us through a structured, logical process. And fourth is it avoids waste and inefficiency. LP finds the optimal solution, meaning we produce the best result with exactly what we have. As noted on the slide, linear programming helps organizations achieve the best outcome under limitations, and that is a value deeply embedded in Islamic teaching. Now, let's bring this to life with a practical example. A bakery that produces two products, which are cakes and cookies. The bakery has a total of 6,000 minutes of baking time and 2,400 minutes of packaging time available. Each cake takes 30 minutes to bake and 10 minutes to package, earning a profit of Rm 15 ringgit. Meanwhile, each batch of cookies takes 20 minutes to bake and 15 minutes to package, earning RM10 ringgit for profit. The first step is to define our decision variables. We let x1 represent the number of cakes produced and x2 represent the number of cookies produced. Step 2 is to write the objective function. Since we want to maximize profit, we write maximize set equals to 15x1 plus 10x2. Then we set up our constraints. The baking time constraint is 30x1 plus 20x2 less than or equals to 6,000. Meanwhile, the packaging time constraint is 10x1 plus 15x2 less than or equals to 2,400. And finally, the non-negativity constraint is x1 and x2 must both be greater than or equal to 0 because we can't produce negative quantities. By solving this LP model, the baker can determine exactly how many cakes and cookies to produce to maximize profit without exceeding their available baking or packaging time. Resources are used efficiently, waste is avoided, and the best decision is made within real-world limitations. This is the power of linear programming, and as we've seen, it reflects the Islamic principle of preparing and utilizing what we have to the best of our ability.
That's all from us. Thank you for watching.